I'd like to open it up to the audience.
My name's Walt. I'm actually with AT&T, so I was going to ask a question about, as far as advising your clients on some of the technologies that you're using, are you advising them to use solutions that detect the type of smartphone they're coming in on, and grabbing analytics to do that? And then also, are you advising them to have the consumer fill out a simple web form on their sex, their age, their gender, anything like that, or is that something that you're not advising on? So those are the two questions I had.
First one, yes.
Yes.
The second one, forms on mobile devices are bad.
Yeah, the shorter the better on mobile. But so Maury works with a QR code company as well, and he knows this. So it's difficult to kind of SMS, I think, and then QR codes. I think it's going to get better with QR codes to capture like a phone number or capture data, right? And be able to know it came in from this phone, and there's tons of things you can know about a consumer, which you get the phone number on an SMS campaign. And so being able to capture those bits of information and knowing when your customers have changed to a new phone and making sure that you're, adapting to that phone. As they move forward, you want to keep them as a customer, so.
What Marcy's speaking about is I used to do work for the world leader in QR codes. And what they can do, they can't track you on your phone, but every phone has, like PCs have a MAC address. Every phone, you work for AT&T, you probably know this, has an IMEI. So that's why when you call your carrier, a lot of times for tech support, they'll say, go to this screen and tell me what your IMEI number is. That's like a social security number of your phone. And when you switch phones, you have to call them, like with AT&T, their GSM, you can pop your SIM card out, put it in a new phone, but they want to know what your new IMEI is. So a QR code can grab that IMEI number. So it doesn't, for privacy reasons, it doesn't tell me who you are, it just tells me that device. So why would I want that? Well, I want it because I want to know how many unique scans you had. So if the same person scans a QR code 10 times, I know that that's one unique scan. So they use it for tracking. And then, as Marcy said, you can have a QR code send an SMS message. And a lot of people do that because once they send an SMS, now you have their phone number. You can attach that phone number to that IMEI. And then if they go to a mobile website, you can triangulate and say, okay, this is the same user. And Google is genius at doing these kinds of things where they can follow your footsteps around. And with QR codes, we had a lot of clients ask, could we put a roadblock up and say, what's your sex, what's your age, before the scan went through? And we said, yes, you can build it into your reader. The problem is nobody fills that stuff out and they just abandon. Because just like how many surveys do you get when they want to know your income, your age, and all that, and you just say, I don't, skip. So, or they put garbage information in. They tell you they're 60 years old when they're 16. So you can't trust the data. So there's other ways to capture it. And they will fill out a form if it does something for them.
I have a client who has we just launched a mobile commerce website for them. They are our hotel chain, La Quinta, who is so convinced that filling out a form on a mobile device is so lousy that they invented an entirely new booking paradigm. So you can actually hold a hotel room on your phone through La Quinta by entering your 10-digit phone number and nothing else. And you literally show up, you just show up to the hotel and you give them the phone number because they have it in their registration database, and that's how you book your room.
It's all about making it easy and quick for people.
And I was buying a $150 item, and I was like, damn, I forgot my 20% off blue flyer that I have 100 of in my house. But they had it right at the register. They said, hey, well, you can, text this short code or text this keyword, which sent me to a URL, which sent me to a mobile form that I had to put in my demographic information, which then popped up another barcode, which they then scanned with the register, and then I did get my 20% off.
So
there was something in it for me that I actually filled that form out, but that's what I was curious about, whether that was.
Well, see, one of our first QR codes where we actually put it on a print tab, so it went out to, 20-something million people, and it was with Martha Stewart Kitchen. And so what they had to do is they had exclusive content with Martha, giving her little pitch. And then what you could do is actually sign up for somebody to, you call Home Depot and they could talk to a kitchen designer and actually get the info, so they would call you back and you could, whatever. It wasn't very successful. I mean, the problem is that, filling out information on a smartphone is not easy. And I know, with the Home Depot, it's like with QR codes, is this an opportunity, or even with a mobile device, to get the information to put in our customer relationship management, which is, our email database and affinity clubs and all this kind of stuff. And so far, it hasn't worked very well. We even have the garden club, which, all of our, if you go to like Daisy's or whatever, they have QR codes, and we want people to sign up for the garden club, but it's been a tough sell.
Hello, my name is Narayan Swami. I'm in advertising business, and this is a question to Sylvia. At Home Depot, where did you get good response for the mobile campaigns? Is it on information-intensive sites, or it was operational, like games and other kinds of utility apps, and or magazines or newspapers? Which one did you get the good response?
The best that we had so far is doing an OLA campaign, an online advertising campaign, like where we worked with different like publishing houses. So there were several campaigns that we were very successful on. So that's kind of been the highest, where between the downloads, the click-throughs, the revenues, with all the different things we described.
So not in games, is what you're saying? More on information content sites?
Not so far. I mean, again, you have to remember the Home Depot, we're, they're not bleeding edge. So we're kind of putting our toe into it, here and there. So that's just not somewhere where they've gone to date.
You buy on CPM or CPC generally?
Excuse me?
Do you buy on cost per click or cost per thousand?
Cost per thousand.
So I had a question. Ayman Latif with Think Digital. The question I had was, how are you translating social into your advertising, into your analytics? Gartner reported that this year is the year where analytics get more interactive and actually require more data mining than we've done previously. Right now, with analytics specifically, we're just copying whatever gets done on the web, renaming it. Instead of page, it's now a screen and all that other stuff. So we're not actually getting what we need specific for mobile. So the root question is, how are you managing social conversion into your advertising and into your analytics?
That's a huge question. I don't have a good answer, other than to say that it's good that we're thinking about it. Something like twice as much traffic to Facebook happens over a mobile device than it does over the desktop web, which is just astonishing. So, and to me, there's no meaningful difference between social and mobile. If your organization is thinking about social as a channel and mobile as a channel, you're already wrong. The two are so closely dovetailed that it's just, there's no difference.
Yeah, and like he said, most of transaction or most, information commerce happens on the mobile with Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, all of that will happen here. So.
And what's kind of interesting at the Home Depot is that the social group is separate from both the mobile group and from the marketing group. So they're kind of their own little island out there. So what we've had to do is kind of pull them in and give them the resources so we are able to track it through Facebook or Twitter or whatever, because, most social groups are, in the PR department or communications department, and they're not marketeers, and they don't understand that, their real goal is not to communicate, necessarily engage, but actually to sell stuff. So it's been a process to kind of get them up to speed to understand what we're trying to accomplish.
I think on the analytics side, it is extremely important that that's tracked the right way, though. You can actually go into the back of your analytics that you're seeing now. Even if you don't have a mobile web presence, you can see how many phones are hitting and viewing a mobile website or trying to view one if you don't have one. You can still see it because they'll click through it. They'll click through the emails on their phone. They'll click through the SMS on their phone. And they're trying to hit you on the mobile. And if you don't give them anything, they may or may not click through again for a little while. They'll give you some time because mobile's new, but.
And most companies just don't do that. And the proof in that is that the ones who don't do that come to you and say, I want to develop this iPhone app. And you go, well, let's look at your analytics and look at your web logs. And we determine that, yes, iPhone is number one, and it's by far and away number one. But the other 99 devices in the top 100 are all smartphones. And they add up together to, upwards of 50 to 60% of your traffic. So most companies just aren't doing that anyway.
I guess one of the major advantages of having a mobile website is having the ability to quickly change the code and make it accessible across all devices. Where does split testing and multivariate testing get involved in the process? Because I believe maybe there's an optimal point. Maybe someone's willing to put in their sex, but not their age, or do you test all those different variables to see, like, maybe someone doesn't want to fill out an entire form, but maybe parts of a form, or maybe certain pieces of information they're willing to fill out?
So I can answer that. We just launched a platform for the mobile marketing pages. That's kind of a do-it-yourself platform. It launches a mobile web app out immediately. And if you were to take something like that, now if you build out an entire mobile website, that A/B testing is kind of difficult. But in that landing page scenario, you can do that. You can tie an SMS code, an email campaign, or a QR code to page 1, or A, and then do another one to page B, and then set those up in different locations, and then test what that driver is, what gets filled out, what doesn't get filled out quickly, without really messing with all that content and everything you've built on your main mobile website. It's just a landing page scenario. So, what do you mean automated? I mean, it's an on-the-fly change, right? So you can actually create the page, send it out there, do a test on it for 60 days or 30 days, and then change it and do another test. Yeah, automatically. It's quickly, yeah.
The point is, though, that you've got a small screen, not a lot of screen real estate. A lot of phones don't have a keyboard. They have an on-screen keyboard. People just don't want to give you a lot of data. So you get creative and you find other ways, like the example of Bed Bath & Beyond, to get the 20% off. He was willing to give you that information. But you'll get a lot of abandonment if you're not careful with that. For your Body Boss app, people give you the information because without it, the app doesn't do a whole lot for them.
Jim, I'm also with AT&T. I have two questions that are unrelated, but part of it is the question on social is I've wondered why more people are not doing the approach of signing on with Facebook, because my assumption is if I sign on with Facebook, I'm giving you my name, the city I live in, my education level, maybe my age. You're getting all that information because I'm connecting to you through Facebook or whatever the social media platform is. But I don't really know if that's true or not. So that's part of my question. And then the second part of my question was more about capturing the ability to capture more information about what your consumers are purchasing so that you can cross-sell, upsell. Like when I'm on Amazon, they're continuing to try to sell me add-ons from things I've bought years ago. And my sense is that the Home Depot, they don't have any record of that information. The most retailers are not capturing any real history of who I am and what I've purchased. And is that really a fundamental need to start with to be able to effectively market to people later on in their relationship?
I'll take that. Well, I think the latter question is that you have to opt in to get that information so they can pull it. And I think that major retailers are trying to, especially at the Home Depot, is figure out ways to get that information. Because, you have to agree that you want upsell or, we have what they call abandoned cart. So if you're looking for flooring or rugs or whatever, that they'll send you additional 10% off or whatever. Don't say that. But they have to opt in to be part of the database. So the challenge at the Home Depot is getting that information and making sure the health of the database.
I'll take a stab at the first question. No reason why you couldn't use Facebook Connect to force login to a website, but if that's what you're trying to do, then or if you need to authenticate, there's no reason why you shouldn't be using your own authentication engine at that point. So I guess it depends on your business goals as to whether or not you should use Facebook Connect as a front end or authentication vehicle.
And a comment on your question about what Amazon's doing so well. You're going to see a lot of loyalty programs crop up with a mobile connection because that's how they can track you. Your Kroger Plus card or your Barnes & Noble card, and they want you to join those affinity programs or those loyalty programs, the frequent flyer programs, so they can now start, tracking you across devices and your buying patterns so they can better serve you. And there again, you're willing to give them information because in return they're going to give you discounts or buying opportunities that the average person doesn't have.
And with the Home Depot, we have the problem is that their policy is everyday low prices. So they're not into, giving a discount coupon. You'll never, that's kind of one of the tenets of the company itself. So that's one of the issues that we have with having that database, is that you'll get special promotions, but it's the same promotions everybody else gets.
There's a way to tie there's a way to tie both of your questions together. With HTML5, you can actually persist authentication in and out of network coverage. So unless you're dumping your cache or resetting your device, you can actually remember who somebody is and what they're doing. So back, another shameless plug for La Quinta, we wrote that site in HTML5, so we can track your entire buying history, keep it, and begin to build a profile for you without even having you log in at all to anything.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with HTML5, it's an extension of HTML, which is the web is built on, that allows you to do things on mobile devices. So the key there, the promise of HTML5, and they're in the process of ratifying new features, and as they always are, but the promise is that you can write a website once, and then the website will be smart enough to know that it's a mobile device coming to it, or it's a laptop, or what size the screen is, and you don't have to write it 50 different ways. That's what HTML5 will do for us. And last comment, and then I'm going to turn it back to Meryl. Your question about signing in with Facebook, I've often wondered the same thing myself. If I sign in with Facebook, do they get all this privacy information? But there is a chasm there. We talked earlier about demographics. My 13-year-old daughter would feel no pain in logging in with Facebook. So any college student or below, that generation shares their whole life. I mean, they have no qualms showing pictures, telling their thoughts. If you're above college age, we all are a little jaded. Like, I'm always amazed on LinkedIn with TripIt. People say, I'm on a plane to Paris, and I'm thinking, well, I'll just go, take everything out of your house. I know that you're gone now, So there's a level of privacy that our kids have grown up being a lot more comfortable with, of exposing things. And so companies here again have to understand that, and they're marketing to different groups.
Yeah, I have a 16-year-old, and we have to actually let him know, don't put the address up there, because Google Maps will actually show where we live.
Excellent, thank you. Great job moderating tonight, Mari. Fascinating to hear all of that. It really is kind of still the wild, wild west in the mobile web, so that was brought home. Thank you for that. A lot to learn. And with that, we are done for tonight. Please go ahead and return your badges on the way out, and we'll see you here in April. Thanks, everybody.